And we should be live. Hello. Welcome to today's stream. Uh, I'm a bit wonky since I didn't get much sleep last night since I stayed up until like 3 editing and making a video that I posted last night.
Hello.
Uh, I also... Oh, that is unpausing the wrong thing. There. So, today's stream, as the only comment stated on my post, right here. Sonic 4 but good. So that is a bigger project than like what I was wanting to do with this. But it gives us the time to make something a bit smaller scale and improve on something that wasn't that good to begin with. My plans with this is to use the Sonic Advance art style and try to make it like, oh, they made Sonic 4 for the Game Boy Advance. Kinda like that. Sadly that means no goofy pre-rendered graphics, although I've done some testing with pre-rendering already. Hello, Tails Reverie. I like Sonic 4 as well. Well, I like Episode 2. I haven't played Episode 1. Episode 2 I enjoyed. It was fun to play on my tablet when I was younger. But I want to use the modern Sonic style, just so we're not straying too far away from the source material. But I also really like the Sonic Advance art style, and I haven't used that in a long while. First, we want to take care of our resolution. I'm sorry, but I'm not using Classic. I've already had my mindset to use the Sonic Advance art style. But this is our screen resolution. Each square in this checkered pattern is an 8x8 pixel. We got a set amount of these, stuff like that, yada yada yada. You get the point. I don't want to be like lots of people and just use the advanced sprites to not make any changes and make stuff that's out of place. I want to kind of make custom sprites as well. So we're gonna yoink that. I already yoinked it. My memory is bad. But another reason why I'm not using Classic is because that's already been a thing. A lot of people have made Sonic 4, but with the classic Sonic style. So, let's change things up and do it modern-wise. Right now, setting things up differently. So, we have our sprites. We're gonna transform, flip it horizontally. And we got our sprites. I have no plans to switch into style because the sprite scales are completely different. I threw together a very short thumbnail since I was busy playing a game. And I was like, oh, I gotta stream! So, when making this, I kind of want to keep the colors similar to how they appeared in Sonic 4. Okay. I still, even though I own Sonic Frontiers both on my Switch and my PC, I still haven't played Final Horizon yet. So, we got our resolution of 240 by 160. Hello Blue Star allies. This wasn't my idea. This was an idea, but he's the only commenter on my post when I asked for ideas to do for this week's stream. And so I'm not gonna remake it fully. I don't plan on making this a full thing whatsoever. But we have our resolution of 240 by 160. That is the Game Boy Advance resolution. But we're gonna take our Sonic sprite so far. I have anti-aliasing on. So we got our Sonic sprite. He appears a bit smaller than what normally. That's because we changed up the resolution. If I find it, canvas size. We changed it to 320 by 180. I watched a game dev video, well, a game dev short, by the person who's making Isadora's Edge, which that looks like a fun game. I might buy it when it comes out. But they recommended that it was like 640 by or 360. Yeah, by 360 was a good resolution to use. That'd be way too big, so I cut that in half, and it's kind of close to the Sega Genesis resolution. I do not plan on making Sonic OVA playable. That'd require a lot of work, and I say that'd be more of an off-stream project. Sonic 1, that project is taking a halt currently. As explained in Stream 9. But anyways, enough of me yapping. Let's figure out what we're going to do. So, I want to take colors from Sonic and like the game screenshots, stuff like that. And use that. Of course, like have my own limitations and stuff. As you know, we are working with Game Boy Advance sprites. But overall, this can go well. We got our Sonic sprite. We can delete that. We can remove our thumbnail file. And now we got our sprite. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Sega Genesis color palette, which had to be in my documents, sprites. But also, you see, I already set some stuff up for when I do make the pre-rendered classic Sonic stuff. These are the origins and models from the Switch version for Sonic Superstars. And I just made a simple 3-point churn reference sheet for all of them. These are just frames of it. I have the actual sheets in a different folder. So we're going to go to Sega Genesis. And we're gonna go to mobile port. We're gonna go yoink this. Remove that. And have this here. So now we got our color palette. The Genesis palette, it comes in different styles. In the Sonic 1 stream, we use the Observer. But right now we are using the mobile port. To actually use more dim colors the game had. Let's say Chris. What do you mean by that, Tails Reverie? Perhaps if I grab the correct color. Okay. So Sonic has a decent amount of colors. I think it still goes in the Sega Genesis color limits. So we want to be too far from who likes Chris? I can't really say an opinion since the last time I watched Sonic X was when I was like 7. And I haven't really went back to it since. What do you mean, this is a crazy coincidence, Ethan? While we wait for Ethan to respond, I want to keep it similar. Let's flip this as well. Transform, look horizontally. I want to keep it somewhat similar color scheme-wise. The advanced sprites, but you sticking to our Genesis palette. We can just easily take colors from the image and use them in our own thing. That's interesting, Ethan. There's so much you can do with Sonic 4. Yeah, Live 4 kids and the English localization for stuff, they removed a lot of things. I just find that more amusing than anything else, really. Okay. I'm gonna be using a color that's too dark there. Now we got our current color. We want to find something that's slightly, not slightly, a bit more darker. So like this, more of this dark orange brown color. It gives off a good skin tone. It's not exactly pure yellow like Sonic was here, but it gets the job done. Our whites are in check. The reds. Start with this red, our pure red. I'm not a huge fan of that pure red, actually. Still go, lightly different. Sonic 4 Episode 3 was going to exist, but it got completely canned after the failure of the first two games. And they didn't want to waste more money, making a game that would flop as well. So they just canned the series entirely. Same thing happened to Sonic Chronicles for the Nintendo DS. Blue color being an easy grab. We can find basically an exact match. And then we just continue working down the blues. Still, and off with a decently colored Sonic sprite. In Sonic 3, most things are shaded normally, but Sonic's sprite, for some reason, goes for a cel-shaded look. And that is to try to mimic the Genesis color limitation. But I don't understand why they went for that when they didn't do it for basically anything else in the game. If I'm correct, it was the original mobile release. Or it was one of the releases of the game where they removed the lighting effect on Sonic and actually didn't look too bad. But it was a weird design. It was a weird design decision that they did, and they removed it when they worked on episode 4. Not episode 4, episode 2. I'm gonna get the green of Sonic's eye. We can't really yoink it from that image, but we can just yoink it from here. So now we got basically a proper Sonic sprite. We're gonna make this pink. Oh, that's bright on the eyes. Let's actually make this a dark teal. Okay, so that Star Ally Studios. I can do a music suggestion for your next stream because I have a good one. You can. There's no guarantee I'm gonna do it. I'm just doing a genericized version of the Sonic 4 soundtrack for this stream. And the old mobile ports, it was originally the iOS port, used the Sonic Rush model. Most likely due to limitations, stuff like that. Okay. So we got our Sonic sprite. That's basically our correct quote-unquote palette. Doesn't this look like the Sonic from the game with the loop example? Oh yes, this is, the Sonic Advance sprites. I use that in this, loop example. Although, we're gonna basically go forward in a different route, when working on this. So we're gonna go to 96 by 96. Then with this, we're gonna go to a 48 by 48. Make that the same color here. And then put this in the center. That's in the background layer. So let's bring that back up. So we can remove the background color. And put this in the center. Actually, let's just redo this. There we go. Remove that. So, now with this in the center, we can add a... Oh god, we're drowning. But, now we got this. Now we could put our idle dance sprite. But that is from the wrong layer. There we go. That is the wrong thing once again. Helps if I actually copy the correct thing. So we got our Sonic sprite. And move it over slightly. We want basically the center of his body, and like kind of like the center of his mask, to be the center of the sprite. I'm gonna rename this to 0. And rename this to 1. I would suggest, if you're doing pixel art stuff, using a sprite. I'm just using Photoshop for right now, is because, I just had it open when I was making the thumbnails. Hello, Jim Henson, the Skinny Pop fan. Welcome to the stream. As suggested by the title, we are currently making Sonic 4 but good, as suggested by the comment in my post asking what I should do for the next stream. But right now, it's just a simple putting animations where animations go, and just making sure everything's lined up nicely. But yeah. And nothing too difficult. It's just lining up the animations, remembering... make the blue a bit darker. I can do that, but I'm not gonna do it exactly at this moment, because in Photoshop I would have to recolor all of these frames. And I don't want to do that right now. But when I go into a sprite and tweak things up a bit, I will make sure to take care of that. The Sonic Advance Idle sprite, with his little bob back and forth, his foot, his left foot stays in one spot. And then you got his little foot tap. Got the foot tap. We're gonna go. Do the opposite of that. There we go. So now we're back to our basic idle sprite. So we got all those additional frames we didn't really need out of the way. And now we can take a look at idle animation. I do want to get this... not the sleep animation, but, It's more of just the ear scratch, stuff like that. I want to get data animation in. Since I personally feel it would fit a bit better. Yes, I will be using gdevelop for this. Since at the end of the day, the point of the stream is to code inside of gdevelop and stream my process just like I did with Sonic 1, so people can use this as a reference to learn. That was my main goal of the Sonic 1 project. So even if it didn't get finished, or even if the series got fully canned, it's still there, and it still has, the streams up so people can reference those streams. And I can reference those streams myself, for, like, reference, doing things that were a bit more difficult in the Sonic 1 stream. Like, taking damage, stuff like that. Make a secret idle animation where he falls asleep. I said I was going to do it originally, but there is literally nothing harming me from doing it. So we're just gonna hide those frames, grab this one, and go back here. I'm changing the offset slightly. Just making sure it would look good lined up. And so we're still somewhat towards the center. So we don't have Sonic all the way over here, when his hitbox is just right here. Continuing adding the sprites. I'm gonna make sure his chest lines up nicely. And then we continue on with the laying down. Hill Driver, in like 6 or 8 years I might move, probably to a line coder for better games. You do whatever when it comes to coding. A lot of engines, like Visual, like Unreal Engine, they have their blueprint system, which is a form of visual coding. Of course you got gdevelop. But there's also a lot of things you can do. Line, also known as scripting, I say that would be the most beneficial, and that's what companies look for. Jimmy Henson, the Skinny Pop fan, please visit the website I told you about. I don't fully recognize who you are, and I'm pretty sure I was not sent a website. What are you confused about, Tales of Reverie? Yes, Sega just switched to Unreal Engine. They used to use the Hedgehog engine for the longest time, seeming that they developed it and all. But we switched to Unreal Engine, and hopefully this allows them to make more optimized games, and, you know, have more people be able to work for them. Since Unreal Engine is a more well-known game engine. I have responded to you a few times already, Jim Henson, the Skinny Pop fan. It seems if that you aren't answering my questions. please be respectful when you are commenting in my chat. I want this to be a positive place for everyone, and second we start getting too hostile and negative, you will be removed from the stream. Okay. So Sonic, as Saturn Comics request, now is a nice little sleep. I will be changing up the level design to be my own thing. It's still going to take inspiration from the original level design, but I want to add my own twist to make it a bit more modern, so to say. So now that we have the idle animations done, we go to the lookup animation, which it goes here. He does his 2 intro frames, then this loops, and then he does these 2 frames to exit. Although Sonic 4 had a lot of potential, but with Sega having Dims make a game for like all platforms instead of just Nintendo ones, I think that could have like changed the development cycle, since they weren't working off of what they had previously with the advanced games and the Rush games. I'd think if this was its own game and if it was like named like something like Sonic 4 Eggman Strikes Back or whatever like that, just some other name instead of being a direct sequel to the Genesis trilogy, this game could have been seen with a better light. But since it gave itself the title of being a direct sequel to the Genesis games that people hold ever so fondly, it tanks this game down a lot. Just putting in these frames. But, I'm not gonna go directly into doing this, but I do kind of want to go add in, don't mind, hair squeaks. Welcome, Steve, from the hit movie Minecraft. I haven't really looked into the history of Sonic 4. I just know information from random videos I've watched over the years, stuff like that. And also stuff that, like, I personally think of, like, my own theories. Okay. So how we're going to... animate this. Sonic Advance uses a lot of walk animations. Some of them you would barely see. Sonic 4, you have like a simple walk, and then you get to your jog, and then you get to your run. I'll use this to have this more simple walk, the jog, and then the run, and then I'll have the sprint there as well. Which Sonic game is my favorite? That would be a really hard question to ask. But having to think about it, I'd say either one of the original games in the trilogy, or one of the Rush games. I should play Sonic Mania. Yes, it'd be a really fun game to play. And it'd be fun to just revisit that game again, like on a stream or something. I might do that for a later stream. Hopefully I actually start drawing out my thumbnails instead of just randomly bringing together random images. This is tedious. Yes, the very, beginning streams do become really tedious. That's mainly right now, I'm just copying and pasting frames into place. But once we get into the coding part of it, these streams get way more interesting. But, saying true to my word, I want to keep these streams, to me actively working on them, only while I'm streaming. Just so, everyone can see the process. So lift this animation. For most of it, his foot stays on the ground. That's why we get this more of a harsh bob. Devlogs that are cut down to appear less tedious. I understand that, but this is a live stream and not a actual YouTube video. And since with this not being a video, I'm unable to... Okay, Saturn Comics. Okay. I am not going to unlist this stream. These streams are here to be the full process. I will possibly cut down the video, but I will not unlist this stream series. Or any of my streams to begin with. Because as I said before, and I'm repeating myself again and again, but I want this here where everyone can go reference it, learn it, whatever. Do whatever you want with these streams. I will not be removing them. I might make an actual normal video cutting this all down, but the streams will still stay how they are. But back to the tedious work of copying and pasting frames into place. I'm gonna hide some of these. I still know. Sonic Dream Team is a really fun looking game, sadly. Since I don't really support Apple and the Apple ecosystem, I have not been able to play it. Hopefully one day I'll play it. If I don't, oh well, it's not the end of the world. I am not giving information about myself. It is currently 3:33 p.m. as seen on the bottom right of my stream. That is the only thing I am going to give out. Have I ever had a Sega Genesis? I have not. I almost had one, from a garage sale when I was younger. But it didn't have a cord, which would probably be like a $5 purchase. So I was unable to get it. This was like when I was like 8. And I was at the garage sale of one of my grandparents. But, oh well, I'm not throwing a temper tantrum about it. It is what it is. The past is in the past. And I might pick one up later when I actually get money. Because I don't have a job currently. It's running the Tales of Reverie. You're 1 minute late for me. I'm not sure what you mean by time zones. We're probably in the same time zone, but when it comes to streaming, there's always a delay from when it's actually happening, and to it actually being shown to the viewers. There will probably never be a streaming service for a long time that is exact moment. That is the exact, like... The second I say something, you hear it. Do I know all the Sonic? Do I know all the Sonic characters? I know a lot of them. I do not know every single one, since there's many medias for Sonic that I have not seen. I do not understand what you're saying, Saturn Comics. Making sure these are lined up nicely. I have an old iPhone 7 somewhere around my room. That's like the only Apple device I own. And I do not intend owning more. But you do you. I'm not going to hate on you for using what you use. Because Apple has its benefits. And so does Android, Windows, whatever you want to use. Visible Funkin'. I'm gonna try to make a game called Sonic Rewired. I think that's gonna be the name. It's gonna be Unity Project. And of course it's gonna be 3D, but I don't have the game making experience, so maybe later. When it comes to game development, you don't really start learning until you actually try. You can use all you want from tutorials, but it doesn't become like actual like knowledge until you're starting to be able to create your own things. Like with G-Develop, I didn't learn this overnight. I've had multiple years before I like started to get to a level that I enjoyed. Like for example, when I was new, I was like, oh, this game, the sprites here look small. Instead of zooming in the camera, like when I originally started, I made the sprites bigger. They were like 600% of the original sprite size. Which that's something you don't want to do. But after a while, I started to learn and get better. I'm gonna make sure this animation is fully properly lined up. That one down a bit. And of course, we can always go into a sprite and change things up. But when it comes to game development, one of your biggest enemies is relying on tutorials. Tutorials are amazing. I've used tutorials. And I'm making this as a somewhat of a tutorial. But there comes a point in time when you become stuck in tutorial hell. That is where you become solely reliant on tutorials to make whatever. So basically, if there's not a tutorial on it, you can't make it. That could be bad for a variety of reasons. But all I ask of everyone is to stay to your dreams and do your best. Nothing will be perfect. That is sad. Perfect is different for everyone. Like, I can make something that I see as truly perfect, but someone might go and see this as, like, horrendous. And there's nothing stopping that. It's, as long as you have fun with the process, and you make something that you like, I'd say you should be proud of that. You don't have to break any records, or anything of that, variety. All you gotta do, in my mind, is just have fun with it. Make something you would enjoy making. I'm gonna use this game called Struck D, which uses these Sonic-like platforms and has Sonic-like character, and maybe change the character to be Sonic with different details, stuff like that. Kanor, He is a good friend of mine. I work with him on this stuff. But for the longest time, the only Sonic G-Develop related things were people using like the default platformer, so therefore you don't get any actual Sonic physics. Or towards 2020, you get Kenor starting to make an actual Sonic thing. And I was there from the very beginning for it. Um his videos are really good. His engines are really good too. But they might get confusing for some viewers. And that's why I want to go, since my engine stuff is a bit more simple in how I code. While it might not be the best, it might not be the most optimized, um, it gets the job done, and it's more of like an entry-level thing. I don't know how long Kenart has been in the, like, doing G-Develop, stuff like that. But they know what they're doing. They've done a lot with the G-Develop community. Uh, recently they made I forgot what exactly it was called. But it was like a thunder... No, not thunder. It was like a lightning, drawing system, and it was pretty cool. I'm not sure if he publicly released it, but it is in the Sonic, G-Develop server, if you wanted to check it out. Although I'm not sure if he released it either. Um, yes, agreeing with Hill's Reverie. You do not need to know any personal information about me. If you ask all more of these personal questions, I will remove you from the stream. Um, no one wants to hear about my personal stuff. I don't want to share my personal stuff. And yeah. Uh, I think I should make a new level 2. I have some names: Tree Chop Panic, Frantica Floral, or Beach Breeze Trouble. It might sound a little corny. You say it might sound a little corny, but you, are making a fan game on the franchise that originally was going to have a level named Genocide City because they thought it sounded cool, not knowing what it actually meant. Um, uh, Saturn Comics, I'm on a team making a game called Sonic Reclassified on Scratch. Um, I used Scratch a long, long time ago. Um, you could probably find my old account on there if you look hard enough. But Scratch is a really good spot to start. People might think of it as like, oh, it's super unlimited, stuff like that. But people can make amazing stuff with it. Like, I'm still surprised with the amount of things people are able to make. Like being able to make Minecraft, like, fully 3D inside of Scratch, for example. Or fully 3D games to begin with. That is completely amazing in my mind. And go grab this frame for reference. And then we're gonna go and find the skidding animation. Okay. Talking about the skidding. There are multiple versions of the skidding animation. Uh, these two frames are just a simple turnaround. Uh, this is more of like plays like when you're in like a standstill. Makes it feel more smooth. These animations are turning after a skid, so it happens more of like after this animation. Speaking about this animation, this is the one we're going to use. I don't remember when this plays. When it plays, not plays. But this one is like a full speed skid animation. but we're using the arms back, feet out one, because that is most like, the classic games. And that's personally, just an easy one to implement. Found Mario Odyssey 3D on Scratch. It's really cool. A lot of stuff is amazing on Scratch. I'm surprised how far it has become. How far it's become. How far people have made stuff and everything like that. Like, if you, like, ask some of these people on Scratch, like, oh, make Minecraft fully 3D, they'd think you're crazy, but, like, here we are, and, like, everything's changed. I will not be adding, blue lightning effects in Sonic runs. This takes place way before that was a thing. And two, Kanor, he's currently making a game with the Sonic Advance sprite style, and he's currently using a blue lightning effect, so I don't want to have this seem like a copy. Mario Maker games are really cool. Well, Mario level creator games. There's like Super Mario Bros. X made by the same person who made Terraria and Stardew Valley. And then there's Super Mario Multiverse, I think it was called. I haven't played it before. It's a Mario Maker-like game that is usually closed, and you're unable to access it. Which, yeah, it sucks, but having it be like a closed beta prevents Nintendo striking them down with the wrath of the Nintendo ninjas. I have not been to a Chuck E. Cheese before. I am now too old to really go on my own. I'd look out of place since I'm an adult now. But, oh well. Chuck E. Cheese, I didn't have one nearby where I lived. I'm not too butthurt about it. It might not be a place I've been to, and it might not be like, oh, I don't get the pizzeria childhood memories, but that's fine. I was a kid who was terrified of Five Nights at Freddy's, so you could see how that would go. Okay. Now that we got the skidding, I want to take care of the rolling animation. First, we are missing a color. We're going to have our blue. Make a lighter, well, take a lighter blue and color in that green spot. The green spots are usually where missing colors are, besides where the eyes are. But I probably will make Sonic's fur darker. Is it music? Oh, I forgot. YouTube does this. I'm sorry. I was making something away from my computer. I had music on my computer going, and it does this. I really hate that it does this. I'm probably gonna have to find something to remove that from happening. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna hop in Sonic Advance 1, go to Sonic Sprites here, and yoink an animation from it. So, there it is. Found it almost instantly. Grab this, go. I'm gonna go back up here. Make a bright neon... Uh-oh. Make a bright neon green. Make a clipping mask. Set the opacity to 50. And then merge it. And now we basically do the same thing that we did down here, and just add the palette. The reason why I'm doing this, not only to fit the Sonic 4 jump ball a bit more, I'm not a huge fan of Sonic games, fan and official, where they make it to where when Sonic's spinning, he is just a blue ball. Like, yeah, it works. I understand why they do it. But you don't capture that, like, speed and, like, that motion that, like, actually having Sonic curled up, spinning, would have. A long while ago, speaking of this rolling animation, I made a version for Knuckles and Tails a long while ago. So I might go and yoink those animations. If I still have them anywhere. Nintendo Switch 2 could have been a double screen like the Nintendo DS, and they could have made a Tamagotchi Life 2, but they made some not bad but a little good of Mario Kart and Donkey Kong Bonanza games. Okay, I have a lot to say on the topic. I bought myself a Switch 2 and drained my money, whoopsies. But I enjoy it. If you own a Switch 1, if you already own the Switch 1, do not buy the Switch 2 right now. If you own, if you don't own the Switch, if the prices for the Switch 2 have gone down, or if they're not being scaled, go ahead and pick one up. That is your choice, not mine. Mario Kart World, it's fine. I enjoy it. It's not like a traditional Mario Kart, but I think I'm more hyped for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds than I was for Mario Kart World. I've played the open network test. I didn't stream it or record it because I wanted that to be my own thing to play. But it was really fun. The demo is out. I do suggest you taking a look at it if you want to. First, you don't have to. I'm not making you. I'm not your parents. But I think Crossworlds would be more content-filled than what's it called? Than what Mario Kart World is. And I'm not saying that as a jab to Mario Kart World. I'm just saying that more as a what's it called? More of my personal thoughts on it. Okay. So I want the head maybe 1 pixel away from the black. But to be level of that. Okay. Who will I main in Cross Worlds? In the open network test, I played Amy and Eggman a lot. I love Eggman. He's really cool. One of my favorite Sonic characters. I also played Amy, because Amy's cool as well. But I really like Sage as a character. I love her design. I love almost everything about it. So I will probably main her when I do get the game. Responding to Visible Funkin', I honestly think the Switch Lite is better because since it's small, you can carry it, and it's way cheaper than a Nintendo Switch, but it can't be docked. The Switch Lite, it's a really good console. Go for it if you have the money. It's basically a Switch 2, but smaller. A lot of people don't dock their Switch, and that's perfectly fine. Back to my Switch 2 discussion. I like the Switch 2. It feels way higher quality, like, build-wise. Like, if you ever get your hands on a Switch 2, you would feel what I mean. It has a way higher build quality than the original Switch. There was, like, parts and times where I felt like the original Switch was going to fall apart in my hands, and I do not get that feeling with the Switch 2. Yeah, Cuphead. Cuphead is an amazing game. I've played it. I haven't played it much, but I do know about it, and I gotta praise the developers. They did amazing. And hand drawing everything. While some animations went through, they did it digitally. Everything was initially drawn by hand. And that takes so much time and skill. But, like, even then, like, a lot of games, like, have things drawn by hand. But Cuphead was unique because it was, like, actually drawn like how people would make cartoons back in the day. And I think that's, like, the coolest thing about Cuphead. I do need... Speaking about Cuphead, I think I own it in my Steam family. I'm not fully sure about it. I'd have to go check for myself, and I'm not going to do that on stream. But... I do have Hollow Knight and Silk Song. Those two are also amazing games with a similar artistic style to Cuphead. And once again, if you haven't played it, I really recommend you to play it. Okay. Going back to talk about what I'm currently doing on stream. I have this more scrunched up spin dash animation first. Because just how I'll lay it out, this animation will appear first. Since if you've seen my old streams, well, if you've seen my game dev streams, about anything really, you would know, like, I'd like to label, like, if the animation's, like, a loop, what part of it, like, what part of the animation it is, stuff like that. Okay. I do that, it's fun. It also helps keep you organized, helps you structure animations. But this ball form will loop, but every time you, like, press the spin dash button, you'd go into this more arched version. Showing the visible Funkin' again. Yes, because I wanted a 1930s cartoon approach like Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, or Disney cartoons like Steamboat Willie or Betty Boop cartoons. Hollow Knight and Silk Song are absolute cinema as well. Yes, I have to fully agree with you. I have a lot of games I still have to play. I still need to play chapter 3 and 4 for Deltarune. I still need to play Hollow Knight. I still need to play Silk Song. But those are things that I want to save for myself and not be pressured to being all perfect for a stream. Okay. Looking for another animation we need. Going in order how I usually do animations. After the spin dash, I usually go for the spring animation. Which is somewhere in here, right here. So, I am not going to have this initial frame. In my mind, it's going to be repetitive. And plus, it just requires one more animation. So I'm just gonna not have it. But... I haven't... surprisingly, I haven't played Undertale. I have watched playthroughs, I've played AU games, I've watched the comics when I was younger, I've done everything. I was a super Undertale nerd. What's it called? But I do personally enjoy Deltarune more. Undertale is an amazing game, don't get me wrong. Deltarune is also an amazing game. These are basically, what would you rather have? Like, what's it called? A bottle in a, like, water in a circle bottle, or water in a cylinder bottle. They're still great choices. It's still water. It's still amazing. Both games are absolute peak. But I'd probably pick Deltarune over Undertale. But that is just my personal opinion. And plus, the first 2 chapters of the Deltarune being free really made me able to play it and actually enjoy it. Unlike Deltarune, which I didn't buy until when it had that sale where it was 99% off, and I picked it up for like $1. And that peaked Undertale's play count by a lot when they did do that sale. Continuing on the fall animation, we go here. This frame, what's it called? I was gonna say this frame, but we're gonna go with this frame as, like, when you walk off a platform, this will be, like, the starting of the fall animation. We're gonna line it up. Why do you not like, either of the... I need to rephrase that. Why don't you like Undertale or Deltarune, Tales Forever? And responding to Visible Funkin', I played, GTA 5. I watched, the son of a babysitter I had when I was, like, 6 play GTA 4. And I was, like, giggling like no tomorrow when I watched Nico run headfirst into a gas station in a motorcycle. But... GTA 5, amazing game. I personally can't wait for GTA 6. It's going to be another game where I'm not going to watch videos on it, so I want to experience it all firsthand. So Tales of Reverie, from what you're saying, if I'm getting this correctly, you just don't like RPGs in general. And that's a perfectly valid opinion to have. I know a lot of people who don't like RPGs either. RPGs are fun, but, like, there's a wide variety of RPGs out there. All you gotta do is find the one that fits your taste the best. Don't worry about censoring yourself. I do thank you for doing so, but don't worry about it. But I was, I saw the drama around, what's it called? The definitive editions of the GTA games. We're going back to the original, Sonic Advance spreadsheet. For one reason, the Sonic Advance 3 spreadsheet, while I know most of the, like, lineup for most of the animations, they're, you know, not neat and stuff like that. Of Sonic Advance 1, it recently got a re-rip, and the way this sheet is laid out, it's amazing. Animations, each animation has their own bounding box they stay on. So, like, here, like, let's say, like, oh, you don't have, like, this exclamation mark. It's still there. And same with the run, walk. The main thing we want to grab is, flipping animation. So what we're gonna do, grab neon pink. We're gonna be different this time. Burn my eyeballs. And then we're gonna go merge. Grab this color, put that here, and grab a random Sonic. Right, we'll probably just grab this one right here. And doing this here just guarantees I have it lined up properly, since I've the corkscrew sprites, while they're amazing, they're a pain to line up incorrect. So we're just gonna replace colors. Nothing too hard. Simple, replace color, stuff like that. My music stopped again. Oh, it's just the song ended. But speaking about, as I said earlier in the stream, I said music cut out while I was, like, listening to it from a different location. You know what the funniest thing about that is? I was on YouTube Music when it did that. AKA, the place where you set music and leave it alone as you do other things. YouTube confuses me sometimes. But it's here. It's what I stream on. It's what I make videos on. It's probably what I'm gonna use to try to create a platform, stuff like that. So I can't sit there hate on it when it's what I'm using that as my platform. But it's whatever. YouTube, Shmoo2, whatever. Use whatever platform you want when it comes to making videos. Okay. Now that we got those animations, I'm gonna go to the fall. And right now, we're just gonna import all of these. We're not gonna line them up. Since they're all in the same bounding box, that means they're all lined up properly. So we're just gonna paste these all in as is, and then we're gonna move them later. And then once we get to that animation, this animation is the one that we're actually going to line up. So we're gonna hide these frames. Hide that one. Go here. Move the background on that. And we go to one of these frames where... There we go. Go here. Grab all of these animations. And then I'm just gonna move it over to where it would make sense. So let's say I get out of this animation, I would now be falling. And now it's lined up properly. And then we just leave that how it is. Okay. So right now, we got the idle, we got the walk, run, jog, whatever. We got the animations for basic movement. We got the spin dash, we got the roll. We got the spring variations, we got the falling animation. Now we're gonna look here and see is there anything else we need. I will do the insta-shield sprites, but that'll be later. We need the damage, we need the death, we need the drown. Rail grinding. Well, that wasn't in Sonic 4. I'd say it makes sense for, like, a blend between classic and modern. What's it called? We need the balancing animations, which I should probably do those next. Look at the balancing animations. Do the victory animations. Actually, I don't know if Sonic 4 had victory animations. Episode 1 gameplay. Check my notifications. New subscribers. Thank you, Baldy Fan and Visible Funkin for subscribing. I'm not sure if you guys are still in the stream, but thank you. We're gonna go into a farther act. You go here. Beat up Eggman. Okay, you do the victory animation after you break the capsule. But... okay, you run through. Run. And then you just go on. So, victory animation at the end of a boss fight act. But you just walk past on normal acts. Okay. So, we'll put that victory animation in. Harley uses Sonic Advance to do victory animation. Okay. Because that break dance flip will be a pain to animate. Well, not really a pain to animate, just a pain to line up properly. Okay. So, we need the balancing animation. So we got the backwards balance. Where is the forwards balance? Okay, now we got the balance animations right here. Oh, we forgot about push as well. Okay. Don't mind my squeaky chair. Got the push animation. So we're probably gonna start off with that. Make a new layer. We're gonna call it -1. Okay. Grab this, do that. Now we're gonna go with the symmetry. And then we're gonna make what would be like a fair collision box. There we go. So, that is fair. I forgot to give it a bottom. I can just merge it though. So now we got this. Gonna make it a bit brighter. There we go. So now we got this like general idea of where our player sprite would be and like its collision. So now we can do animations that rely on that positioning, like the push. Once I do finish Sonic's animations for today's stream, I will probably be ending the stream. Mainly because I haven't had anything to eat all day. That it is my fault. But I'm kind of hungry. Going through. When it comes to like the push animation, it's really easy to line up. Because you just line it up with the hand. Although, I was doing things wrong. There we go. I forgot to add, like, position his feet correctly. There we go. Hide these. I would buy Sonic 4 for the purpose of playing it for the stream. Not playing it for the stream, using it as a reference. But one, I don't have money, and two, it's Sonic 4. So I'm just gonna use gameplay footage for like reference. For the balancing animations, we will not use the like starting frame. But actually, thinking about it, for now, we'll stick to the forward-facing balance animation. You can add these later. And don't worry, after this stream and before our next stream on this mini-series, I'm gonna call it, I will have Sonic's animations fully complete, so you don't have to sit here with me rambling, talking about random things as I just put animations in. Okay. We now teeters on the ledge. With how we line it up, we won't have to do anything special with moving the sprite one balancing. Okay. We got the balance animation. We got the spring. I'm gonna look, see what else we don't have. Yes, we will be inside of GDevelop actually coding, for next stream. But to wrap it off, because we don't need any of this other fancy stuff, for most of Splash Hill. So we'll go to here, add the damage and the depth. Hello, Gunner Cope. Welcome to the stream. It is almost about to end, but I'm glad you're here. This stream might not be that eventful to most viewers. Probably might be one of my lower performing streams right after the first stream, for the Sonic 1 series. But what's it called? I like to stream basically the entire process, show what I do. Also one thing. This is an important thing. When it comes to this, I've seen people, when they do stuff for GDevelop, when they have, like, their player character, they sometimes have the player character sprites, like, be different resolutions. Let's say, like, this standing sprite would be about, like, this big, but, like, the running sprite would be, like, this big. And that'd, like, throw off the entire, layout of the sprite. I go here, transform, flip horizontally, hide. Oh, that's really bright. And we're gonna go here, transform, flip horizontally. There we go. And now we got the depth sprites. I'm gonna put those in. Also, congratulations on having 20 subs. A really fun milestone to reach. Yeah. Sorry. I'm hungry. So my brain's not really braining right now. But overall, we're going to okay. Sonic sprites, for now, are all lined up. So we're gonna make frames from layers. Delete that. You see your animation play out. Gets the job done. Okay. So, we're going to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. We're going to change this to GIF. I'm going to take a look at our settings here. Everything seems fine. 100%. Animation speed does not matter. We're not actively animating inside of here. We're gonna go to Sonic animations for Sonic 4. Okay. Now that we have those saved, next stream, these sprites will be completely done. But overall, that is the end of today's stream. If you enjoyed what you saw, or are looking forward to what's up next, please like and subscribe. And anyways, that's it from me.